Hi guys, and welcome back to the channel. We're going to have a chat today about entry rules. Not only the entry rules into Thailand, but the entry rules into bars or restaurants or gentlemen's clubs or basically anywhere that sells alcohol in the Pattaya area. And we'll have a little look around Macau and Freetown while we have a chat. So you have a little bit of eye candy, like what is in front of you and what is about to appear. So the other day, the governor of Chonburi issued a new order that all staff working in any of these bars, restaurants, gents clubs, whatever, where they sell alcohol, must have an antigen test every single day. And all customers must produce an antigen test before entry into the bar or restaurant is allowed. And if you're not carrying one in your pocket, which you really need to do, then you must do one there and then at a table which is usually set up to one side of the entrance for that purpose, before they'll allow you into the venue. That's the rules, okay? A lot of places are not following them, but that's the new rules. Now bear in mind that if you happen to test positive, even if you feel perfectly okay and have no symptoms whatsoever, they will call an ambulance and they'll take you to a hospital, which is actually a hotel converted to a quarantine hospital, and you have to stay there for a minimum of a week normally, at your own expense, which is usually around about a minimum of 5,000 baht every night, and you're stuck there in quarantine. And that's what happens if you test negative. Okay, so what's happening is that people are either not doing the test. So pause 1 second. So as I said, people were either refusing to do the test and walking away from the venue if they did it, or the venue simply is not testing people. It's as simple as that. They're ignoring the rules. That's what's happening at the moment. You can see, you only have to look around, you can see. You can try to get in some places and see what happens. A lot of places just let you walk in, they're ignoring the rules. Now you need to bear in mind that if you say, well, I've got insurance, that's no problem. Check your insurance, because most people's insurance does not cover them if they're asymptomatic, if they're not sick. Because in the insurance it says if you become sick, right? That's what it says in lots of insurance policies. And you're not sick, you're asymptomatic. You've got a COVID positive test, but you're not sick, so it gives the insurance an out, all right? So you end up with no insurance. In many, many, many cases, been a lot of people abscond from these places because they've found out that their insurance won't pay, and they're down for the 5,000 baht a night themselves, or whatever it is. That's what has been happening. So I walk around carrying a test in my pocket, which I did this morning, nudge, nudge, wink, wink, and tell them this was done this morning, and if they accept it, no problem. If they say, oh well, we don't know about that, do we don't know when it was done, you have to do another one now, you just turn around and you walk away. You do not take a chance like that of a possible false positive that ends up costing you like a fortune, you know. The other thing, let me just tell you the other thing that's just happened as well recently, about the price of these antigen tests. I bought a couple just before, the day before the governor made the announcement, and they were 60 baht. 60 baht each. Yeah, and then after the announcement, I went to buy a couple more, and guess what? They were 120 baht. And a lot of the pharmacies have done exactly the same thing. And on top of that, of course, there was no warning to pharmacists about this is going to happen at all. So guess what's happened to stocks? Suddenly, bang, they've gone out of every shop. You are now struggling to find one in any shop anywhere. They're ordering them and they're getting them in, and some places have got stocks, but lots of places have not got stocks anymore. Talk about forward planning. Now this is Saturday night, the 8th of January, and look how quiet it is. But the rules which were brought in the other day say that any venue has to stop serving alcohol at 9 o'clock. So this is closing time. Well, not closing time actually, they're allowed to stay open, but it's drinking up time for a couple of hours or whatever, you know. So what people have been doing is buying 2 or 3 or 4 beers at 10 minutes to 9. That's what I chatted to some guys, and then they had 3 or 4 beers lined up. And that's what they were doing, which obviously they're allowed to drink it once they've bought it, but they can't buy it after 9 o'clock. So that's what's going on. Same thing as happens in happy hour and go-go bars, you know, the same type of thing. So they're still sitting there, still drinking. Somebody didn't think this one through, did they? So as far as this rule about you can't go into a bar or a restaurant unless you have show a test, I haven't been asked yet to show anything anywhere, except one gents club yesterday. That's all. That was the only place that was in the day. In the evenings, nothing at all. People are just walking in and out, just as they did before, and completely ignoring this ruling. So it's best to spend the 120 baht or whatever you can get them for, 100 baht, 99 baht, whatever, 85 baht, there was some. Spend that, do the test. If it's negative, then keep it in your pocket. And just in case, you never know, you might have to produce it sometime. Supposing you're sitting in a bar having a drink, and then the boys in brown turn up and check everyone. You just pull it out of your pocket and say, I did this morning. And then you're in the clear. And the bar's in the clear. So you need to be doing that. So you need to go and buy one, if you're here already. And keep it in your pocket. Because the last thing you want is to be carted off to a hospital for a fortnight, or a week, or even, you know, the last thing you want. Now, this is Saturday night, as I say, about 9 o'clock. And on Friday night, the night before, I went around the same sort of bars and had a look, and it was much busier. But then the rules were not brought in at that time, and it was 11 o'clock open, not selling alcohol until 11. They still can open till 11, but it's the alcohol sales. So it's made a massive difference to the amount of customers. I'm not sure whether it's because people don't want to drink, earlier, and they prefer to drink later, so they're going somewhere else or whatever, or whether it's because they're worried about COVID, which I doubt. But what I think it may be is that they don't want to do a test. You know, they just don't want to do one of these tests, which they're supposed to do. But it's killed the business. It's killed it. I mean, it just is nowhere near as busy as it was the day before this ruling came in. Now that's Billabong, of course. They didn't bother opening this Saturday night. They just didn't bother. Probably didn't think it was worth it. So that's the information about entry into bars and stuff in Pattaya at the moment. Moving on to entry into Thailand itself, they finally clarified the details about the test and go, because the government had previously given conflicting information. Depending on whether you listen to it in Thai, whether you listen to it in English, it was different. It was confusing. So they finally clarified it. But in English, they had said that the cut-off date was the 15th of January, which was moved from the 10th of January the previous week. But in Thai language, basically it didn't say that. It said that the cut-off at the moment is the 15th, implying that it will be extended. And finally, yesterday, or was it today, it might have been, they did in fact say there's no cut-off date at all with Test and Go. If you've already got your QR code, you've already got your Thailand pass, you've already got everything approved, and then you can then come after the 15th. There's no 15th cut-off anymore. You can still come with your Test and Go. Well, that guy there is doing fortune telling. I've seen him there a few times. The girls sit down and have the fortune told. Why not? Why not? They're very, very superstitious type people, you know that. They love all this card business, and there's all sorts of stuff that they do for telling the fortune. They believe it all. Of course, they believe it all. So the travellers arriving on the now sort of extended, if you like, Test and Go. They need to do 2 PCR tests. One when they arrive, where they're taken to the hotel or hospital, and then a week later, they have to do one at a clinic. They have to go to a clinic and do another one. They can't just send it in. They have to go and do it. But that's all okay now. So they've also actually reinstated 5 more sandboxes from the 11th of January. So those ones are all in the islands and what have you, down in the south, and in Krabi and what have you, Pangat and Samui and Koh Phangan and Koh Tao, but none in Pattaya. There's no Pattaya sandbox. So the only way you can get to Pattaya if you don't have a Test and Go is to do a quarantine or go through one of the sandboxes. So, I mean, obviously the one which everyone's going to is the Phuket one, because you can just wander around the island. So that's all back to square one, isn't it, nearly, where we were before, not that far away. One of the things which I did notice, and obviously you actually see it, is the massive influx of tourists arriving with this Test and Go, and that, of course, is now stopped. And when these guys go home, who are here now, which is pretty much now, they'll be going home in the next week or two, a lot of them, it's going to go back to being dead. In fact, it's possible that the reason why it's so dead today, besides the rules, is the fact a lot of people have gone home already, you know. If you do come on one of these sandboxes, of course you have to be fully vaccinated, and you have to stay in an SHA hotel, you know. So that's going to cost you a little bit, isn't it? What has happened after the cancellation of suspension of Test and Go is massive cancellations of flights and hotels. Massive. I mean, in some cases it's as much as 60%. And previously some hotels had reported they were nearly full in January, and their bookings have dropped to 20% from being nearly full. That's the devastating effect that this cancellation or suspension of Test and Go has had on the tourist industry. This, by the way, is the entrance to the beach club, which if you look inside there you can see is not busy at all. No queue, no nothing, not many people inside. And if we walk through here just to where the back of Tree Town is, and Area 39 is to the left. Saturday night, 9 o'clock, that Area 39 last night was packed out. Look at it tonight. I'll just show you, and this is the same sort of time, about 9 o'clock it was packed out, and there was live music on. Now look at it now, and that's, you're seeing with your own eyes, right? You're not being lied to, eh? You can see. That's what it's like now. And they're doing tests to get in as well. And look how quiet it is. That's got to be, I would think, the people not wanting to do testing and everything like that. That's what I think it has to be. I don't think it's anything else. There's nothing going on anywhere else in particular that would draw people away like there was on New Year, you know. I think it's just that people don't want to have the hassle of being told to, like, stop drinking at 9 and being checked if they've got you know, the big C or not, or the big O, or whatever you want to call it. So I've just walked down the bottom and turned to the right, and you can see for yourself what the situation is. The Thai government CCSA also said that from the 16th of January, bars can open as restaurants officially. Having said that, it seems like they're all doing that already in Pattaya. I don't think that means anything really. At the same time, they also announced that nightclubs and go-go bars and places like that will remain closed for the foreseeable future, was what was said. So if you're already here, go and get yourself an antigen test. Do it. If it's negative, keep it in your pocket, just in case you need it. You may well need it. It's well worth 100, 120 baht, whatever. Do it, yeah. And if you're not here, what can I say? I mean, there was quite a well-known blogger English guy who came for Christmas, New Year, and when he was in his one of his last vlogs, when he was leaving, he said, "Would you do it again?" And basically, he said, "No, it's just not worth the hassle for a few weeks. Not worth the hassle." And that was before he got hit with a positive COVID test just before his flight, and he couldn't get on the flight, and he's now stuck in a hotel in Bangkok. Obviously, a lot of you guys know who I'm talking about. It's just unfortunate. Poor guy. Very unfortunate. But these things happen. This is what we're talking about. Anyway, guys, look at how busy these bars are. 9 o'clock Saturday night. Anyway, guys, if you like the video, I try not to be negative, but the trouble is I'm telling you the truth, and the truth is negative. What can I do? You know, I'm just being truthful to you guys and showing you what it's really like. Anyway, please subscribe and like and share and ring the bell. And please, you know, I hope that you understand. You know, please enjoy the video as best you can. All right, I'm gonna go. All right, guys. Thank you very much for watching.